Hello and welcome. You're watching me, Sanket Upadhyay, on TheFederal. The show is called AI with Sanket. This is the AI of news because news in India today requires not artificial but analytical intelligence. What a day 20th of July has been. It was clearly marked with a lot of failures on the part of the government. Failure number one in anticipating the anger of the people on the 20th of July. Failure number two in managing the crowds in a protest. That first of all, you were clueless as to how many people will show up in a protest. You underestimated the reach of the protest. And when you saw that the response is overwhelming, suddenly metro stations were shut, roads were shut, and people were not allowed to assemble at Jantar Mantar, which created a new problem. There were satellite protests which began, which means every place where there was a blockade, that became a protest unto itself. And the manner in which it spread, forget March till Sansad, the protest reached the Sansad. Look at these photographs, this drone footage on your screen. This is Jantar Mantar at 9 a.m. Absolutely chock-a-block. For anyone who's familiar with Delhi, this is the designated site for any protest in the national capital, but it ends here. What ended up happening is a gross underestimation of the youth's anger, that people not only reached, the crowd number swelled, it reached the Sansad Marg, which is the road that reaches the Parliament. It's called the Parliament Street. One part of the road going to Connaught Place, absolutely chock-a-block. The other, which houses the government central secretariat, that was also packed with people. And now the police had no idea what to do. In a situation like this was an absolute failure, as I said, number one, of anticipating this protest, number two, managing the crowd, and number three, and most importantly, in displaying this mad love for Dharmendra Pradhan, that you are willing to risk the support of the youth, your own ecosystem, whether it is right wing, left wing, center wing, all wings are angry with the way the education department has been handled. And since the police failed in managing this crowd, there was tear gas shelling, and we hear baton charge where many youngsters have been injured. Is it now becoming untenable for the government to hang on to this darling ministers of theirs, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan? And what is this Pradhan catch-22 for the government? Does the government fear that this will be some sort of a domino effect, that if you start responding to people's anger, then you will have to do it for very many other ministers as well? Is that the case? Whatever be the case, 20th of July is a very decisive date, at least for Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan. He is very clearly on thin ice and the government on back foot, that after one whole month, the government has decided to enter into a dialogue with the Cockroach Janata Party leadership. Thank you very much. Let's quickly introduce our guest this evening. Mr. Yashovardhan Azad is the former IPS officer, Special Director of the Intelligence Bureau. The Intelligence Bureau is too much in the news these days, Mr. Azad, for the new Delhi Police Commissioner. So, would want you to weigh in on that aspect as well, that where was the intelligence in understanding and gauging public anger, that you had no idea. Delhi police absolutely clueless that so many people will show up. You did not know and were underprepared. Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, and Javed Ansari, senior journalist, is also with us. Mr. Yashovardhan, I want to begin with you first. From a police point of view, from a humanitarian point of view, do you think that this is nothing but gross mishandling and mismanagement of a crisis?
Well, the mishandling started 1 or 2 days back, and when Sonam Wangchuk was virtually wrapped up in a white sheet and bundled out in an ambulance, and 30 seconds flat. Excellent, what you call the Delhi police operation. If I was the police commissioner, I would have said that they have a right to protest. You cannot kick them out. And regarding the health condition, the government has a right to see if anything is going to happen, a kind of a large protest, violence, etc., then it can take some preventive action. But in this case, there could have been 8-hourly check on Sonam Wangchuk at the spot itself. And that would have calmed many of the protesters over there, that at least the government is giving them the right to protest constitutionally and on their own terms. That's number one. Number two, the second thing which they are saying, they never took permission. They are there for 10 days, damn it. I mean, you don't know whether they have taken permission or not taken permission. Number three, there is an intelligence gap. Intelligence failure has been there. Anurag is, by the way, a very good officer. He was a very good officer in the Intelligence Bureau. He's highly efficient. And I'm sure as a commissioner also, he would do well. But, what failed today was, I have a feeling, Sanket, that there was a deliberate attempt, or what you call a deliberate kind of a consciousness कि CA कोई बड़ी चीज नहीं है. CJP is something which can be handled, pretty well. That's not a problem. We'll just lift Sonam Wangchuk, take a couple of people here and there. They are not backed by any political parties. And I'm surprised that the political parties stayed away for their own gains. Ghanshyamji might be able to answer that. That why not come for a total cause? Express yourself. Now, the government again made another mistake, that by not calculating that this may spread wider, and why not have talks before? What is the harm? There was, you see, which went absolutely wrong was, if you had a meeting, say, for example, yesterday by these Naddaji, I know nothing would have mattered, because even now nothing matters, because Naddaji has nothing to say and nor nothing to do. It's a total hubris on the part of the government कि हम तो इस्तीफा नहीं देने देंगे, कर लो क्या करोगे. That is the idea. And one thing is true, Sanket, as you said, that एक का इस्तीफा कराओगे तो कितने को कराओगे? I mean, barring 2 or 3, the rest have been shown their inefficiency in every possible way. Tomorrow there is a legitimate, I think, a protest growing up on the question of ethanol. Even my relatives want to know that what is going wrong with our, vehicles. Now, the fifth point in this case, when you know that you are not able to handle this kind of a crowd, an orderly procession could have been taken, I'll say about 21 of them, to the parliament and make them meet the home minister. There was no harm. Perhaps that would have been the best thing to do, and the meeting would have resolved itself, and then they could have done those. So yes, intelligence failure number one, needless violence that you call lathi charge, but amazing kind of a crowd pulling tactic or a natural, outburst of the crowd. My daughter was there, my niece was there, my friends' wives were there. So I know exactly at what centers and what, pockets, resistance erupted. And by the way, my last point, Sanket, it's not only, I think, an end for Pradhan. It's an end for him, whether he resigns or not, he's lost. I think it's a very, very strong signal for the present government. When you talk about, education without jobs, when you talk an economy without jobs again, and we are talking about social stratification of this kind, then I think there will be more protests like this. So bad handling and a bad premonition for the future.
Okay. Mr. Javed Ansari, I just want to come to you now. As a journalist, as someone who has seen the Anna agitation also, the Nirbhaya protest also, I must tell you, Delhi has not seen a protest of this kind in a while, right? The last such big protest was if my memory serves me right, was 2012 Nirbhaya protest. And then, of course, the Anna agitation, which was happening sporadically in various places. But for it to be so organized and for it to block each and every passageway and carriageway up to the parliament is really unprecedented. All form of stopping of this protest failed. The brazening it out as a concept failed. Do you think that this high-handedness has been served a message from the people of this country? And dare any politician call this organized? Because it's very clear when you look at these pictures and look at these protests that these are people not representing any one political outfit. These were angry students on the road.
Sanket, I have covered in my 42 years long career, I have covered a lot of protests. And since the last 10 or 15 years, I haven't seen something so spontaneous out on the streets like this. I'm amazed. As Yashwadanji was saying, and this is precisely what have happened. Two of my nieces have come from Lucknow to participate, and much against the wishes and the caution of their parents, they have come here. I know of this morning I was on doing some television duty at Vijay Chowk, and from 9 to 11. And after that, I started walking back to the press club. It took me 40 minutes. There was such a crowd, and there were just students. There were just people. There was a group that was talking in Bengali, then the Bhojpuri, then others. They didn't know where Jantar Mantar was. They were just walking in the general direction. They asked for help, and we got talking. So the kind of spontaneity that I've seen is amazing. This whether by accident or by design, but this has hit a nerve. It has hit the right nerve, whereby everybody, and I asked these kids, I said, why are you here? You've come all the way from Odisha. He says, it's about my future and the future of my children. I'm not married yet, but if this is the way things continue, then just imagine when I have a family, what is going to happen. So everybody feels that there is a future at stake, or just, there is a kahavat in Hindi ki paap ka ghada dheere dheere bhar raha hai. The people have a lot of patience in India, but even that has limits. And I do believe that it's nearing that end. It just needs organization, and it just needs an issue like this. This is gender this cuts across caste, religious, gender barriers. You've seen old people, young people, kids, handicapped. I saw a girl with special needs. She couldn't talk. She was deaf enough, but she was, in that sign language topic. This, as I described that to you, the hair at the back of my neck stands up, This is the kind of movement. This is the idealism of youth. When you're young, you have that fire in your belly. People of my age, we've been absorbed by the system, or we've just become too, we don't have it anymore. But look at these kids. Just see their spirit. They don't know where they will spend the night. Some of them slept on the pavement. Some of them slept at the railway platform. Others have, God knows where. They don't know where this will lead. This is not organized, and this is, there is no structure to this agitation. But it's spontaneous, and it is hit a nerve. It's a very strong sentiment. And what you're witnessing today, the government's response, it smacks of hubris. Their standard operating procedure is do not resign, do not talk, because this is a sign of weakness. This government's leitmotif is that they are a very strong, decisive, action-oriented government, and they believe that asking a tainted minister to resign, or removing a tainted official, or even talking to agitators is a sign of weakness. We saw that during Punjab, we saw that during the ORF, and we saw it during the CA agitation, and we are now seeing it now. Mr. Nadda did speak to these three representatives who were there, but they've come back. It's been a fruitless conversation. They've said nothing short of Mr. Pradhan's resignation will matter.
Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, just coming to you, borrowing Mr. Javed Ansari's words, Paap ka ghada, I don't know that, but do you think Pradhan ka ghada is now full? And it is going to be deeply embarrassing for the government to continue defending a minister who has very clearly been an underachiever. I'm trying to be as mild as the Delhi police claimed was the lathi charge in the morning. Mild lathi charge, mild force.
Good evening, Sanket, to you, my fellow co-panelists, esteemed co-panelists, and the viewers. Let me piece it together at different layers. One, BJP is now an authoritarian regime. It's not a simple political party. A basic Google search will tell you that between 2014 to 2026, the party has gotten political donations to the tune of 25,000 crores. If this was valued as a business organization, its valuation will be multi lakh crores. So this is an empire. And what does the empire do? Empires always protect themselves. How do they protect themselves? Number one, they will delegitimize anybody, opposition, Supreme Court, media, either delegitimize or capture. On the day this protest is unfolding, BJP is demonstrating their bravado on two things. One, Amit Shah has the audacity to say that I'm going to introduce a bill that if you speak against our national symbols, you're committing a crime. Every BJP MP is committing a crime in the current situation, the way this stands. That's point number one. Point number two, that BJP is communicating to the people that you don't matter. And it is not communicating through this protest itself. It communicated to people that you don't matter after the 2024 election, when it was reduced to 40, because in the parliament, it is trying to present a 2/3 majority. This multi-lakh business empire is right now on a shopping spree of members of parliament. Can you imagine that a party that is saying, and a government that is saying that they have near 2/3 majority in the parliament is not even allowing a handful of children to walk to the parliament? They are lathi charging like British would do. They are throwing every atrocious act they can do. They are doing it against the students. My final point. Is it only Mr. Pradhan who's tainted right now? Every single minister in this government today stands tainted. If you just count Gadkari, Hardeep Singh Puri, Jairam, Jaishankar, you count the number of ministers that they are there, and you just dig a little deeper. The Prime Minister himself is implicated. What happens to the PM Care Fund? And these things link up together. The Prime Minister on the Dhwajarohan of Ram Mandir said that just a few months ago, 45 crore Shraddhalu have visited the Ram temple. They, in front of CCTV, they robbed 45 crore Shraddhalu. Did anybody was booked? Is anybody consequential in jail? 12 handpicked people from the Prime Minister managed that temple. So this is an empire. It is an authoritarian regime. This is like a Tiananmen Square situation for BJP. It is not that the Delhi police failed. The empire is failing. And will the empire come back? What do empires do when they fail? They come back with double the atrocity. So this empire will come back with double the atrocity. When they failed in 2024, they came with double the atrocity. They hijacked the electoral process. They hijacked the voter list. They hijacked the institutions. Now that they are saying that even a group of students who are not politically affiliated can challenge the empire, they'll double the atrocity. One final thing, Yashowardhanji said that why political parties are not showing up. Because the way the empires act is, they delegitimize everybody. Tomorrow, if political parties would show up, the RSS and BJP workers will show up. They will do whataboutery, derail the agenda, and soon we'll be talking about something else rather than talking about the fact that in our country, no matter how hard you work, your exams outcome are not legitimate. No matter how hard you work, your job is not guaranteed. And we are entering the age of AI, where jobs will all the more difficult, and inequalities will rise. So this empire is going to be more authoritarian. It is threatened. It is shaking. But you will not see a prime minister do a press conference. You will not see Amit Shah come out. You will still see the government saying that they have near 2/3 majority in the parliament. You will see them continue their shopping spree of members of parliament. It is a shameful moment in India.
Okay. Yashowardhan ji, just quickly coming back to you. You see, I am again coming back to the main point. Do you feel that Sonam Wangchuk or not, Deepke or not, these are maybe carriers or messengers? What has become way bigger than the carriers and messengers is the message itself. And that message is that education sector is in a state of deep crisis, massive mess, and there was anger and frustration on the ground, which you saw spilling out on the streets today. You forget a Sonam Wangchuk. Do you think that this message is way bigger than its messengers and carriers? Usually what happens is the other way around. The carrier becomes more important.
True. in fact, the strongest message which is coming out here also has a reason. And I'm glad Ghanshyamji cleared that point. In fact, by not joining of the opposition, and there has been no other association of this CJP with anything, this dialogue, right, left, center, any kind of ism, has given it the maximum strength because it is on the purest agenda of education. Education for achievement, education for jobs, education for improving the lives. And I totally agree that this spontaneity failed. The intelligence failed because they could not realize that this could even go beyond 4,000 or 8,000. So 10,000 were there, and I don't know how many more we weren't able to count. And therefore, this has led to, Sanket? What this has led to is that fear of that mammoothness of this government, the strength, the sheer, the power, has now been reduced in the minds of the people. Yes, there can be an opposition, show of strength. And this coming from the students is the greatest message. Youngsters, like when my daughter comes on her own ticket from Bangalore all the way just to sit here for 2-3 hours, has a very strong significance. Or Javed Bhai's, nieces come. So this in itself will lead to other agitations, because there are quite a few. As Ghanshyamji and I have talked about, what are you not going to talk about? From ethanol to economy to there are so many things, to GSTs, to care fund. And I can tell you so many things from my old RTI regime, which I was administrating as commissioner, that almost every information, by the way, Sanket, is blocked. Even when somebody asked in the RTI, Anjali Bhardwaj asked कि भाई ये SIR का आदेश किसने दिया था, तो he says मैंने तो नहीं दिया था. The election commission says this is like राम का धनुष किसने तोड़ा, they asked in a school. So he stood up and said मैंने नहीं तोड़ा था sir. So where are we now? There is no answer to anything. So in this case, why Dharmendra Pradhan is not resigning? Is he resigned? So what? Nothing is going to improve. And what happens is that, I wish we had that after 10 years, no government can continue, because you actually run out of ideas. From NEET, I have spoken extensively on NEET, CBSE, etc. If you really look at the people who are managing it, and ask Javed Bhai and also Ghanshyamji, none of those bureaucrats were punished at all. They were adjusted beautifully. And one of them is a special secretary to the chief minister himself in India. This is a message which is going to the students, and that is why they are agitated. And that is why they have said that Dharmendra Pradhan should resign. The government may not ask that, because they'll brazen it out, I know. And that is why even the ministerial shuffle has not been done, only show that we are not doing under pressure. But this will not help. This will lead now to other protests of various forms, which will come in very soon.
Javed Ansari, I just want to come to you and ask you, what is this great joy and sadistic pleasure in brazening it out? I mean, if this is a government for the people, and if there is a very clear message from the people, then to say that I will not listen to people, or anyone for that matter. Now, in the case of Dharmendra Pradhan, Mr. Javed Ansari, it's not just the opposition or left-wing or centrist. By the way, Congress and the CJP are also not in alignment. They kept going after one another, and only when Sonam Wangchuk was weak were some congressmen summoned to go to Jantar Mantar. So at a time when something like this is happening, what's with governments choosing to not respond to people, your own, from the opposition, independent or otherwise? Why does this happen?
Because some people believe that they are beyond accountability. Some people believe that they are not answerable. That is the reason. They believe that if they start talking to people, if they remove Mr. Pradhan, not only will it set a precedent, but it would be an admission of guilt. It would be a sign of weakness. And therefore, that is why Mr. Rajnath Singh, perhaps as an aside, but did reveal that इस सरकार में इस्तीफा देने की प्रथा नहीं. They forced Dr. Manmohan Singh, a decent, genial person like Dr. Manmohan Singh, he He got several of his ministers from time to time to resign, but no such thing is on the anvil as far as the current BJP government is concerned. They do not believe. They believe it will be a sign of weakness. They believe they are here for all times to come. I once asked former Prime Minister Dr. I.K. Gujral, that he was in power, and that I said, sir, why did you all do this? Didn't you know that the public was not in favor of this? He says, Javed, when you are in power, you forget that it sometimes even rains. The point he was making is that you're so insulated and you start believing so much in yourself that you just forget. You don't. ऐसा लगता ही नहीं कि there will be a tomorrow, that there will be a different, the sun will come out tomorrow and there will be a different.
But Javed sir, this is a government for the people. We are told that the Prime Minister knows the pulse of the country. He is directly in touch. That is the messaging, no? So then
that's
why
been
the
exposed.
brazen?
I mean, the easiest thing in the world is to be a legend in your own mind. Vishwa Guru. You be a legend in your mind. You're Vishwa Guru. आपको किसी की जरूरत ही नहीं है. I mean, there is no limit to this kind of hubris, no, this kind of delusion. You can keep believing.
Or as the protesting Gen Z would call it, delulu. That's a new word I've learned.
Delulu.
Yeah.
This is, what you're witnessing, this is not just a message for the Delhi police or the intelligence bureau. This is a message for our hukmaran, people who believe they are here for all times to come. No such thing happens. That's never been the case. Nothing lasts forever. And again, you dismiss my saying ki paap ka gada, you're not so sure. Well, I am sure. I have a few more gray hair than you, and I have witnessed a lot many more events than you have, and I know that dhime dhime paap ka ghada bhar raha hai.
No, I bow to your wisdom, Javed sir. I agree. अभी हमें और सावन बिताने हैं. I have to learn more. I agree. So, which is why I said that I don't know. Also, whether this protest has legitimacy, is illegitimate, associated with some political party. Again, as I said, for me, the biggest message is that after 1 month. Yeah.
Sanket, one thing is abundantly clear, there is no political party. In fact, the very fact that we were talking on why aren't the political parties throwing their weight? There is no, these people, if political parties, unfortunately, the state of the opposition is such that they cannot organize all that. This is, what really encourages me and what has caught the eye is the spontaneity, is the fact that this is, gender neutral, caste neutral, religion neutral. So you can bring a Vande Mataram bill. Tomorrow you will bring another bill that everybody must wear a dhoti and sport a tilak. All that. These are all diversionary tactics. These kids are not buying into it.
Okay. Ghanshyam Tiwari, just dialing back once again to Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, do you feel that the more the BJP hangs on to him, the more angry they are making the people? You see, sometimes what happens is two things happen. Number one, you genuinely feel that the government is doing its best and there are vested interests who are gunning for the head of certain people in power. That's why you don't take action.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing is where you realize that people are genuinely angry, and yet out of your arrogance you feel, why should I listen to people? It will open a Pandora's box, so I will not take action now. So which one of these two possibilities do you think is playing on right now? And do you think he's living on borrowed time?
I'll say three things very quickly. मशहूर शायर हबीब जालिब का शेर जो है, तुमसे पहले जो तख्त नशी था उसको भी अपने खुदा होने पर यकीन था. So this plays out at all times. I agree, but let's be honest. Not one of us believed when Amit Shah said that we are going to be here for 50 years. We did not believe it. People of India did not believe it. People of India felt that they decide. We the people decide. That's what the constitution says. But Amit Shah believed it, Narendra Modi believed it, RSS believed it, and they have built an authoritarian empire. Now, in this authoritarian empire, the emperor decides, people do not decide. When you have every minister is a tainted minister, Rajnath Singh lying in parliament on Operation Sindoor, Hardeep Puri tainted in Epstein scandal, Jaishankar complete failure, Nirmala Sitharaman complete failure. We don't even know what agriculture minister does. So I don't think it's just about Dharmendra Pradhan. Dharmendra Pradhan is living the standard set by the Prime Minister. And the standard is you are all puppets. The empire decides, empire can tomorrow make Dharmendra Pradhan another ministry. How does it matter? None of these people are now accountable for any performance. We have noted criminals or people with serious criminal charges in the past sitting as chief ministers of various states. So we have lost the plot. Now the question is that will the empire be shaken? I can be hopeful that the empire will be shaken, but I also believe that currently the empire is strong from every aspect. They have captured the media, they have the money power, they have the ability to incarcerate people, they have international support through Pegasus and other allies that they have created internationally. So yes, they will be shaken. Their credibility is at an all-time low. They will use the Goti media to shore up their credibility, distract people. The story will play out. I would like to be as positive as Javed ji and Yashovardhan ji, but I also see the reality that is there, that this empire is very, very strong. It does not care about people anymore. It has proven in subsequent elections that it doesn't matter what opinion polls and exit polls will say. They will decide whose vote will be counted, how will it be counted, in which booth. So आपके आंखों के सामने दिन में चोरी कर सकते हैं, आपके पीठ के पीछे दिन में चोरी कर सकते हैं, आपके आंखों के सामने रात में चोरी कर सकते हैं, आपके पीठ के पीछे रात में चोरी कर सकते हैं. This is the brazenness of this government, and as a result, I think the empire is very, very strong. I am inspired by every student who is protesting. They are showing the roots of this country.
Okay.
But the roots of this country also live in the villages where tribals are protesting. The roots of this country also lived when farmers protested. But somehow the empire keeps coming back.
Okay, Javed Ansari, Ghanshyam Tiwari, as well as Yashovardhan Jha Azad, thank you very much for joining us. Today, tear gas shelling was heard near the parliament and the gates of the parliament were shut. But what those tear gas, the sound of the tear gas shelling did was make people sitting in parliament hear what is happening within meters away from where decisions are being made. I think that is most crucial, and let's hope that people are not beaten up and this remains non-violent like it has remained for the past 1 month. We are hearing horror stories of people being beaten up in the baton charge, a lot of people having wounds, they're nursing, some of them have been sent to hospital. This is not a pleasant sight. You don't do that to students. So clearly this was a failing of the government, and students cannot be at the receiving end. Thank you very much to the three of you. Mr. Tiwari, I really have no time, but I'm going to come back to you and we'll discuss whatever you have to on a later date. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, viewers.